I run an organization called Compass Partners. We started with this idea that universities could be really powerful centers for social innovation at the student level, so that students, in collaboration with faculty and staff and the community, but really at its core, students could be really active in creating new innovative ways to make a difference. I ended up spending most of my time out of class, off campus, and interning or working on different conferences or events and things. But most of the people who I work with now, who I spend time with now, are people I engaged with off campus. They were young professionals at the time, and I worked with them and supported them, and now we collaborate on a bunch of different projects. You learn a lot of really good things in classes and on campus, but it's hard to get a taste of what's going on in the real world, and it's hard to understand what the reality of working on some of these projects is. There are a lot of frustrating things, challenging things. People don't always show up on time. Things don't always, work perfectly in the real world. And so I think getting off campus as quickly as possible and beginning to form those relationships is just a great way to explore what you might be interested in, but also to get a real concrete sense of what you might want to be doing. I really think a big distinguishing factor between people who end up kind of following in and trying to find a particular trajectory and people who just end up building things is that they're able to translate their enthusiasm into something real. And concretely, that could just mean holding that first meeting or opening that bank account, or most importantly, reaching out to people who have succeeded in different areas. I think one of the most important things over the last probably 10 years of anything I've done is that there have always been mentors and advisors and different kind of spiritual supporters, so that I made a lot of mistakes. Obviously, I failed with a bunch of things, but I didn't make those mistakes totally blind. I think one of the things that is really useful more broadly around thinking about how do you make money and do good at the same time is that you're always going to do a better job at something that you're really excited about and really passionate about, and that will translate to whoever you're working with. And a bunch of friends of mine who could have very easily taken the consulting path or the investment banking path ended up making themselves so essential to their bosses, who would then recommend them to other people, that by the end of their college career, they may have had 4 or 5 internships even, but they had 5 job offers in a sector, this social innovation space, that really has no clear pipeline for employment or any of that. So building out your network, just being comfortable, being committing a lot of energy to something, even if it isn't necessarily the most conventionally responsible choice. I think all of that stuff is really valuable.